Hi, so this video is about Toddler Milestone 11, which is called Abstract Reasoning. It's going to feature a three-part reading lesson, a Montessori reading lesson, and also talk about getting into beginner books and beginner reading. I'm actually going to be extending this one. This one starts at 2 years, 9 months, but I'm going to be talking about all the way into early threes and how to approach reading. So this one is called Abstract Reasoning. It starts at 2 years, 8 months, 3 weeks. It says most attends at 2 years, 9 months, ends at 2 years, 9 months, 2 weeks. Some of these later toddler milestones tend to be some of the hardest for parents. What you'll see at this one, stalls at bedtime, bossy about how routines are executed, agrees to something but insists on doing something else first, cries easily, possessive of their primary caregiver, blocks people from moving. These things are super irritating. And toddler milestones 10 and especially 11 and 12, which are all take you up to 3 years old, are some of the hardest. Hang in there, mom and dad. Get some extra outside help if you can, please. So the purpose of these videos is to show how this age-related development is actually internal growth. And it's talking about what the new abilities are and how you can use those new abilities to teach your child how to read. There's many other things you could learn, but I'm choosing reading to show off this idea. So in this one's called Abstract Reasoning. People see that and they're like, a 2-year-old can do abstract reasoning. Well, what I mean by that is that they can use ideas in their head and think about them even though they can't see something tangible in front of them, and it coincides with a huge explosion in imagination. So for instance, they might, the imagination, they start to make up stories, but for instance, they might see a tomato and say, oh, tomatoes look just like apples, and the apple's nowhere in sight. They're comparing something mentally, and they can do that. They can create pictures in their minds. So this is great for reading. As I talked about in previous videos, at this point, a child already knows how to read a simple phonetic word such as cat. If they're not doing that yet, that's fine. This activity might actually help with that, depending on where you're at. If they're not doing that, please look at my other videos. But don't feel pressured. Don't feel like you're failing if your child can't do that at 2 years, 9 months. But if you followed my videos and they're ready for it, this is an activity you can do. This is a 3-part Montessori reading lesson. Here's the 3 parts. One of the parts is a picture of something. Another part is the word of that thing, and then the third part is the answer key, which I don't have shown here. So what you would do is you would show this, the cat, the dog, and the pig, along with their entire words printed out, cut out. And they have to match the word cat to cat, and dog to dog, and pig to pig. And then when they're done, you have the answer with all 3 already filled in, and you reveal the answer and they can check their work. So I like this one because at this age, because in order to know that the word cat, like if all they could see was the word cat, they didn't have any other assists, meant cat, they need that new imagination that they're developing to conjure up the image of a cat. And so this is a nice assist to say cat means cat and to get practice with that. So this coincides kind of nicely with another activity I do. And it's not really an activity, but it's more of an approach. And this is where I deviate from what a lot of people do with reading programs. At this point, I abandon phonics. I know some people, their heart skips a beat when I say that, but I want to remind you, at this point, the child knows letters. They know certain letter combinations like SH or CH, and they can string out words. They can read letters and know that phonetically it comes out as k, at. And so now I abandon phonics. And so from now on, when you're helping your child read, instead of making them sound out every single word they see, just point to it and say what it is. So this activity was a nice one because you're matching the whole word to the object. But so if you're doing a beginner book, for instance, beginner books are usually pretty nice because they have a clear object for the child. They might say owl is a cat, and they have a picture of a cat right there. And you just point to the words owl is a cat. And then talk about the pictures. Talk about how the word cat is right there and it says cat. Go to the front of the book and look at the words. The word cat is usually right there. Ask him, of these 5 words, which one says cat? And keep doing this with everything. So if you're out at a restaurant, and this will be very important as they get into their late 2s and early 3s, when they're looking at the signs, which one says women? You just point to it and say women. And you point to the other one and say men. And now, especially in the early 3s, that what they go through is the desire to learn how things function on a more rules and behavioral base. Like they can understand how green means go and red means stop and stuff like that. So when they come to the bathroom and they're faced with this decision, should I go in the women's or the men's? They have the power to choose correctly because they know that the women's is the one you showed them. So they're gonna feel important. They're gonna understand the purpose of reading. I think that's kind of the problem with almost all of reading, is that people make children sound out these letters based on what they know about the letter sounds, and they just have no idea why they're even doing this. So that's what this is going to do. It's going to give them a purpose to reading. And in my next video, what I'm going to talk about is how having the purpose of reading and having the understanding of the mechanics, which they have the knowledge of, can come together beautifully, and a child can actually teach themselves how to do this. They're basically going to reverse engineer the words that they see. And so that's going to be my next video, and it's one of the preschool milestones. So thank you for watching. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Leave me a comment. Tell me what you think. Tell me if this was helpful. Check out my book, Misbehavior is Growth. That's the idea of this book, is that this internal chaos is actually their brain growing, and here's what you can do to help that grow. And check out my website, theobservantmom.com. It has all this information as well. Thanks for watching.